Have you ever noticed that when you're having a discussion with someone and you're trying to get them to understand your point of view or you're trying to connect with an emotion, that they very quickly jump into some kind of problem solving? Very quickly, it's like, well, tell me where the issue is. Walk me through how it is you experience that, and maybe together we'll find a solution. Or maybe you're on the side of the problem solving, which is where I tend to be a lot. When somebody is talking to me or explaining something to me, sometimes I too quickly pause it. It's like, oh, okay, well, help me understand this part of it because I think that there's an easy fix to that. You notice that conversations too quickly go to problem solving, either you're the one doing it or somebody else is doing it. Well, it turns out that this is the way many conversations go. And unfortunately, what it does is, and we don't want it to happen this way, but unfortunately, what it does is it interrupts the process of communication. And it turns out there's a pretty simple fix to it, too. My name is Rick from rickgrundytherapy.com. Most of the tools that I use as a couple therapist, it turns out that they're actually quite simple. Now, sometime long ago, I don't want to get in, well, actually not too long ago, decades ago, there was somebody, last name Rapoport, who is attempting to find a way for couples to slow down their conversations that actually listen to each other. And through over the course of some research and some experiments, he stumbled upon something, just a way couples could a two-seat style of communication that couples could use to slow down the conversation and to seek understanding, to gain understanding. He didn't feel that it worked really well in his practice, but along the same time, this guy named John Gottman of the Gottman Method, he was also doing a lot of research. And he and his wife, the Gottmans, have continued to do a lot of research in what makes and what breaks couples. And they were having discussions and they were their partners, friends together. I'm not exactly sure what that relationship was, but they were talking to each other. And the Gottmans discovered that, hey, this tool worked really well in what we're trying to create. And it actually is in alignment with our research. And so they brought in this tool called Rapoport, or they've titled it Gottman-Rapoport. It's a tool, it's a set of rules of engagement that couples can use to slow down the conversation so that they don't go to problem solving. And man, problem solving gets a bad rap. Like I've said it before, I'll say it just one more time. Problem solving tends to be this high expression of love. That when you hear your partner is in trouble, feeling anxious, has a problem, you want to go to their aid because we would feel like heels if we didn't help somebody who needed help. Like it's a test of character. We need to help when we see that somebody needs help. Unfortunately, it's just bad timing. The very first thing that we need to do in communication is seek understanding, gain understanding. There's a really simple way to do that. And so this thing called Rapoport or Gottman-Rapoport teaches a really great tool for listening. And it teaches us how to listen without quickly going to problem solving. And in the blog that I just wrote, I spell it out step by step, much more clearly than what I'm going to do now. But here's a summary of that. It turns out that the easiest way to prevent yourself from moving to problem solving and to start building something that I like to call the recreational toolbox is to use the listening side of the rules for Gottman-Rapoport. Whenever it is that somebody comes to you and says something, they give you some kind of content. You need to keep your brain busy to stop it from going to problem solving. Simple way to do that is to summarize whatever they've just said. They said something like, oh man, I'm exhausted today because I've been working out the heat all day. We might want to very quickly say, well, do you want me to take you out to DQ? Do you want some water? Do you want to just take a rest? Problem solving, right? Well, help me understand what you're wearing. Did you find shade? Getting in that critical voice. Very simply say, oh, so it's really hot out today and you're exhausted. Is that right? Summarizing, being a parrot, not interpreting what they said, but really just showing up as a parrot, not an interpreter. And apparently what that does in the brain is it speaks first to the nervous system. And the nervous system calms down a little bit. Whenever anybody hears somebody say back to them what they just said, there's this deep sense of connection that happens, safety. It's like, oh, I'm talking to someone who's listening to me. I'm talking to somebody who's actually going to support me so I can get it out and share something. Summarizing right away will interrupt us from moving to problem solving and ending what could have been a great conversation and ending what could have been a great relationship moment for bonding and connection and emotional intimacy. But you're not done as a listener, though. After you have summarized whatever they have said, you can then validate and empathize. So validation is kind of tricky. Validation is all in the head. Start by saying, that makes sense because, that makes sense because it is a really hot day. You were working out in that hot day. The thing is, it's not how it makes sense to you. Sometimes I find that some people really struggle with the idea of validating what they've heard because the reaction is, I don't want to condone this. I don't want to say I agree with the person. I don't want to seem like I'm giving permission for something. That's not what validation is. Validation is the act, the art of getting inside the head of the other person and sharing with that other person that you understand how it made sense to them. And it is completely rationally minded for them to come to that conclusion or do whatever it is they did. So you get in the head of the other person. You're like, oh, yeah, you were just out in like the heat all day long. The first example that I shared with you. So, yeah, it would make sense. It totally makes sense that you feel exhausted right now. That's the validation. And you're not done yet. You still have a job as a listener. There's two more things to do, actually. Then you empathize. So where validation is in the head, empathy is in the heart. That must feel. And as I'm teaching look at some clients how to empathize, a good rule of thumb is this. If it's more than one word that's coming out of your mouth, that's probably a thought because emotions are just one word. So, that must feel exhausting to you. That's good. So you must feel tired. You must feel sleepy. You must feel defeated. You must feel, are you feeling kind of stressed right now? One word. So that must make you feel like you've been working too hard today. No, that's a thought. So summarize, validate, empathize. And there's one more part of this. Now, you're not going to see this on the page if you were ever to be given the 2-page PDF summary of the Gottman-Rapoport rule set. It's 2-seat style communication. You're not going to see this next one on it, but it's implied. And your therapist is going to help you with that. And the fourth thing is to wait. You need to hang on to the tension that you might be feeling, that you need to get something out, that you need to add content, that you need to have your say. That can feel a little bit tense, like there's something unresolved and you want to resolve something. Hang on to that. Just sit with the uncomfortableness of not saying anything and wait. See if there's anything else the other person wants to get out. And then you just go right back into summarizing, validating, empathizing, and waiting. If you like, it turns out that it is this simple. That this is one simple tool among many simple tools, but this is one simple tool that has taken decades of research, both by Rapoport and by Gottman, and it's in the Gottman Method. I love using the Gottman Method. It's a really simple tool, helps us to not interrupt the pattern of communication. And man, I wish I could do this regularly. Like I am, I don't know about you, but I am a natural problem solver. And some people just have the gift of being problem solvers. And unfortunately for me, and maybe for you, that gift gets in the way of actually communicating for understanding and actually having conversations that has the potential of increasing the emotional intimacy and increasing the depth of the relationship. If you want to know more, you can click the link that's in the description, which will take you to the blog. And if you feel that you need help with some of your communication patterns, I'm totally on board for that. You can find me at rickgrundytherapy.com, and you can book me for a free consult to start. And remember, till next time, you rock.